Hello friends, and welcome to this brief interlude between Nalbinding videos where we show you how to attach a new piece of yarn to the old piece of yarn. This is a common method used by Nalbinders but also in other fibre crafts, where instead of doing a knot, we instead sort of splice and felt the ends together. The yarn I am working with is, as always, 8-ply pure wool yarn. This does work with other natural fibres and with select artificial fibres as well, although it is not great with many of the acrylic fibres. I'm going to show you this method twice for a very big reason. The first time I show it to you is going to be with yarns of different colours. This makes it really easy to distinguish what's going on while you're learning how to do it. But in the second example, I'm going to do it with yarn of the same colour, so that you can see exactly what should be expected if you're doing a piece of a single colour. I'm doing it this way so that you can see both examples. There will be times where obviously you're going to want to change colours in a piece, but it's also really important to learn what you're looking for in the same coloured piece of felting. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. We've got two pieces of yarn. One is white and one is blue. Both of these yarns are 8-ply. That designates their thickness of yarn, but they're actually made up of 3 pieces of yarn twisted together or plied together. What we want to do is we want to unply them. We want to separate out those 3 strands from the end of the yarn. You want to unply them at least 4 centimeters into the yarn. I'm more likely to do it for 5 or 6 centimeters into the yarn. I find that doing anything less than 3 centimeters worth of unplying means that the join isn't very strong, and that can lead to breakages when you're working. So now that you've unplied one end of one yarn, we now need to unply one end of the other yarn. Now I'm just going to stop you right here, right now. Put everything down. Please look at the yarn you've unplied that is attached to the piece you're working on. Is it actually the end of the yarn where you are going to continue working? Or is it the yarn from the very start of the piece that you still haven't tucked in properly? Please double check which piece you're attaching the new yarn to. It's a mistake that we all make, and we all kick ourselves when we do it. Avoid the mistake now. Okay, so you've established that you have in fact unplied the correct end of the correct piece of yarn. What you need to do now is interlace those pieces of yarn. Make sure that they are alternating the best of your ability until all of the yarn is used up. It may get a little bit tricky and a little bit fiddly because sometimes the yarn doesn't want to lay flat because it's a little fluffy or whatever. Just keep persevering, you will get there. So once you've got all those pieces interlocked with each other, now is the time to start felting. Some people will use a little bit of spit in their palm, and some people will use a little bit of water, or some people will just breathe some really hot breath onto their hand. Any of these methods is fine, and sometimes you don't even need any of those. So lay the interlocked pieces of yarn across the palm of one hand. With the palm of the opposite hand, you're going to rub the yarn against your hands. What is this doing? What this is doing is it's felting the fibres together. Felting is a way of causing all the fibres to brush up against each other and kind of get caught on each other, so they actually start to stick to each other. It becomes a fairly strong bond by the time you're done. This step may take a little while, and you may need to adjust the yarn to make sure that you're felting all of the join evenly. It's really important to make sure that all those wispy taily ends on the yarns are also felted down, not just the bulk of it. What can happen is as you pull your threads through your work, that wispy taily end, if it's not felted down properly, can start to undo the join. Not to mention it doesn't really look all that good. Alright, so you felted it a little bit now. Have a look at it. Does it look strong? It probably does look quite strong, but keep felting just a little bit longer. Yeah, you know, that looks pretty good right now. You should be able to apply a little bit of tension to it without it unraveling. Obviously, too much tension, it will start to pull apart. And now that your join is finished and nice and strong, you can continue on with a new piece of yarn into your work. And that's it. That's as simple as it is. As I said, this one works best with natural fibres, although it will work with certain synthetic fibres. Are you a Nalbinder who uses a different method to join their threads? Leave a comment down below and we can start a discussion on all those other methods. That's all I have for today. Bye for now. I just wanted to say that I was taught to use the spit method, but it's actually kind of gross when you think about it. Like, I don't want to be giving gifts that I've spat on. And I'm sure as heck not giving it to my clients. No, nope. Water or nothing, in my opinion, and make sure you have clean hands. Clean hands is important. Did you make it this far in the video? Give yourself 5 points.